Flight boss, bitch, for sure. Listen to the mind of Nectary's Moon, flight boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And this gonna be a little quick video, real quick, because got some things to do. I want to get dressed and things of that nature. Even though I don't participate in any holiday, and my mind is not concluded on that, so for the most part, this is why none of my videos will be about a holiday. But for the most part, I want to do this video on everyone have egg cells. Now, I don't want people to get this confused, because as a male or female in the physical, you have masculine energies and feminine energies. So when we talk about, I don't want people out here getting confused in their teachings or confused in their learnings. Whether you are a person teaching or a person learning, you're just on the same line of event. But for the most part, I don't want anyone getting lost into this concept, because, see, here's what you need to understand. A womb is not exclusive to a female. Let me say that one more time. A womb is not exclusive to a female. So you have feminine attributes, which is not exclusive to a female, as far as the physical traits or the physical shape and form of a woman. So for the most part, when you think about a womb, when we're talking about a spirit going into a womb, this goes beyond egg cells. This goes beyond sperm cells. Now, for the most part, I create wombs every day, thought forms. Now, when I create a thought form or idea, that thought form holds energy. Anytime something holds energy, right, it acts as a container, as a womb. So it acts as magnetism. So this is letting you know that it's correlated to the feminine energy. So the feminine energy is beyond the vessels that then got manifested over time and over time and over time to come into lower densities of realities. So you're having sex beyond the physical reality, because sex is nothing more, nothing less but the joining of two energies to create another energy. So as far as one of my feminine bodies, that will be my thought forms, my ideas. Now it holds in external energy as a womb. And the more I hone in on the thought, the more I can see that thought get birthed into the realm of reality that I'm in whatever shape and form, how I willed it into an existence. So reason why I say males have egg cells too, because as a spirit, you go into one of the lightest bodies that you create for yourself, which will be an egg cell. You see what I'm saying? So you constantly are going through wombs. So when you talk about, before you even get to the physical form of a female body, let's talk about in a male's body. Now, for you to even get into your father's mental capacity, for him to even have the idea to resonate with your energy as a spirit, for you to go into one of his thought forms, right? You have to attract and be attracted to one of your father's feminine bodies, feminine natures, which will be his internal realm, the yin realm, which will be not what he externally do, but how he internally moves. So that will be correlated to his feelings, his emotions, his pleasures, his desires. So once you attract one of those energies, right, when your father utilized his male and feminine, masculine and male and feminine energies, his masculine and feminine energies, right, he end up having a thought form. Now, if you resonate with that thought form is a body, a spaceship, a world, a womb. So you go into that womb as a spirit, right? And in that womb, this is when you start to create and emit as a baby spirit your imagination within that larger imagination. And then you keep doing that, keep creating transforming shapes and forms from that first thought form, all the way until you go into and create an actual fluid that could come out to the sexual organs. So when you look at things like the sperm and sperm cells, right? These are just smaller versions of wombs of your father's feminine nature, part of his solar system. You see what I'm saying? So these are just wombs, worlds for your spirit to go into to experience itself. So you helped your father, masculine and feminine traits, create the first womb, because we're creating bodies, aka we're creating things to go into to express ourselves. So when you create a sperm cell as a man, you just creating little people. And these little people end up getting spirits in them. You see what I'm saying? And then these spirits get to experience each level of life within you as a universe through all those bodies, lights, aka sounds and shapes and forms, all the way until it could create a bigger body for itself. So the spirit is gaining all this information. Now this is before you even come into a realm of reality of an existence of how you see this one, where you see a male fuck a female, and that's how it create the other bigger life for the spirit to inhabit. And you're helping along with this travel. So when I say everything is a womb, this is where you need to not get lost into the physical, into thinking that the spirit is a womb. You see what I'm saying? So don't be calling the spirit anything of this realm of reality, because everything in this realm of reality is within a womb. It's within a duality. It's within a duat. It's within the second. The bouncing off, the relative energy. Because you as a spirit, you came from the zero realm. Now to become an individual spirit, you become a soul, right? So that's a frequency vibrating. So once you become a soul, the soul is the first body you created, because you used your spirit, which is no thing, which is no shape and form. So you know things as a spirit, but then you go into a world, into a body of a larger spirit that already been there, that preceded you, which will be yang compared to you as a yin spirit, as a zero spirit. So when you bounce off between that, this is how you become an individual within that space. Your space is your spirit. You become an individual space, an individual spirit within that overall spirit that bigger spirit that you went into, and then you can start emitting your imagination. So that's the one and the two, the duat. Then once you start emitting your imagination, your spirit lie to itself and create illusions and conscious bodies and things of that nature, and feminine and masculine bodies to experience itself. And this is what you call the conscious realm, the yang realm, the external realm, the creation realm that was created by the creator, which is you. You see what I'm saying? You are a smaller version of the creator. So when the first womb you create is things like sound, things like thought forms, things, imaginations. These are your feminine natures. You see what I'm saying? Your first light bodies you create for yourself as a spirit. And then with those bodies, you get to emit and mirror out and reflect it in the physical, so it can vibrate and it can appear to be physical, but it's just really you creating a shape and form or a vibrational level for you to go into to experience that realm of reality. You see what I'm saying? And that will become your 360, the realm that you are in. So I don't want people getting lost into, you see what I'm saying? I don't want people getting lost at where this process actually starts when we talk about the womb. The masculine and the feminine is not exclusive to the male and the female as you see in the physical body. So just because a feminine type of spirit have came here and took many and created many different shapes and forms, that on their spiritual information they was able to create wombs for themselves that they can play that role in this life physically, doesn't necessarily mean that physical vessel represents the true totality of that energy, which would be the feminine energy, which would cause magnetism or attraction, and it attracts from the external or the yang. But the external had to be created from the magnetism. So the magnetism, it close in on itself. So this is where you don't get no more contraction. So it just have to expand. So once they expand, that's the first emitting, the first shape and form, so that would be the first womb, because the spirit is going into that expansion. Now expansion may not seem anything to you right now. That's why I correlated it to thought forms and concepts. But really this is just your spiritual feminine nature trying to push out its external nature. You see what I'm saying? And it plays out through layers. So I don't want anybody getting confused. The spirit is your space. And in your space, you're manifesting a bunch of shapes and forms out of your vortex. And how your vortex is correlated, you will know based upon the people, places, and things, or the shapes and forms you create out of your space, out of your spirit. And the spirit and everything you create out of it plays as wombs, something to go into. These are all your feminine natures coming from the shapeless and formless realm into the shape and form realm. You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes external. But that's why the masculine, male in general, is an illusion. All men and the external and yang realm is an illusion of the yin, feminine energy. So don't get lost into thinking that, oh, so what he's trying to say is all men is actually all females. No. What I'm trying to tell you is the masculine energy is mimicking the feminine energy because it came afterwards. because it pushed out of the feminine energy. So this is where you get all this energy of pushing out, forcefulness, assertness, separation, going out. That was the creation of the masculine energy. Now it may have manifested into ways that y'all think you a male and you need masculinity to do this, that, and the third, but genuinely the vessel that you in have both natures, have the masculine and the feminine. And whatever spirit you was in as an astral travel with a bunch of other spirits that you came with, based upon how y'all was aligning with each other, you're gonna have a certain group of spirits on this side and a group of spirits on this side. So the vessels that y'all take may resonate more with the masculine, or this group of spirits may resonate more with the feminine, but the vessels y'all go in truly has nothing to do with that. You see what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Your spirit truly has nothing to do with that. It just resonate with the vessel, the fluid, the flesh, all the cells that you can name. You see what I'm saying? And then it utilize those and create the shape and form that'll play out the energy of the spiritual travel and the idea of it. But the spirit itself truly is no shape and form. It's no thing. It know things. You know what I'm saying? It's no ledge. It has knowledge. So when you have knowledge, there's no ledge. So you're not under no service system, or you're not being a spiritual child, like a servant or something like that. Because anytime you're serving something, what are you serving? And if you want to say you serve the dark, or you want to say you serve the light, that's just basically saying you serve death or you serve life. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to serve life, that means you serving the first light, which is the duality, the duat, the Lucifer, and things of that nature. So if you say you serve life, that you mean you serve light, and that means you serve that aspect energy of life. So you don't, so all your spiritual connection is only going to be able to channel those type of spirits. Now if you say you a servant of the dark, you're just saying you're the servant of death. Well, really, you're just basically saying that you're the servant of going without. You know what I'm saying? Going within and not needing the external realm. So you probably like a caveman, like you probably like a person who don't give a fuck about going outside, or a person who don't give a fuck about things that's correlated and created by the sun, as far as concepts, the structures y'all go through, the fruits y'all eat, and all that shit that make y'all think y'all need that shit to sustain this realm of reality. a person who say, well, a person who say that they serve the dark, that's the realm of reality that they'll be in, and they become dark negative beings to others of the light. But really it's not negative. Y'all just one on the same end. But a person who say they serve light or serve the life, you really on a smaller end, because really you're serving the perspective that came after the fact. This is why when you even looking at the sun in the scientific terms, y'all getting late light. Y'all not getting the light actually when it's actually emitted. Y'all getting the light way after the fact. You see what I'm saying? Y'all getting it way minutes and millimeters seconds. So y'all getting some old tired shit, some old tired knowledge, and y'all getting that and thinking y'all all consciously aware. So y'all fucked up in the game already. But you know, for the most part, just being a servant in general, you don't even know what you serving. And then to say that you serve, you're actually a spiritual child. Because when you look at people, when you have children or when you have workers and you are the boss and things of that nature, when you are the boss, you have servants or servers or workers or employees. You when you have a child and things of that nature, y'all look at y'all childs as servants. Y'all make them go do things and things of that nature. Where really the roles is reversed. Everything that you're doing is to sustain that life. So really you are the employee. That's what you really need to understand. So the smaller life is really the God. But for the most part, what you need to understand is for you to say that you serve, this means you are a spiritual child. Because anyone who becomes an adult, and I don't care if in the physical realm or the spiritual realm, you are in those you should be in no terms or conditions to be agreeing to serving to anything, because you are the master of your own world. So everything in your world should be set out there to serve you. When it comes to spiritual nature, as far as your angels, when it comes to physical natures, as far as the things that you created and manifested in your life to work for you, so you to sustain yourself in your astral travel. See, but what's happening here is once you become a servant, you put authority over you, and then if you lost and you don't know what you're serving to, then you find yourself taking on responsibilities for energies that's outside of you. And if it's an energy that's greater than you end up taking on their experiences and their responsibilities, to the point that these play out as catastrophic moments for you. And in your life, it'll play out small vibrational to large vibrational. Small vibrational, you'll start having emotional attachments to certain things outside of you that you really know nothing of, but you think you do, but it's just a form of something to sustain yourself in this realm of reality, which that's another form of lostness. And then also you put yourself in a situation where You give yourself, you apply yourself as a child. You're basically a spiritual baby. You need to be told what to do. So you're constantly in search. You constantly have to look. So you have to look towards language. You have to do research. So you're like in a form of lostness, because you in a form of not always understanding. You in a form of never overstanding. You in a form of always having to look, and you in a form of having to always be up under, or having to always reach or channel. I'm saying, or grab from something that's greater than you, to the point that you are the greatness. This is what you need to understand. So for the most part, to serve, this is because you're still a spiritual child and you know nothing. But at the same time, once you become a spiritual adult and become spiritual, flourish with yourself, then it's really truly nothing to serve. Everything that you're creating is supposed to serve your purpose. And if you are diving in lostness and serving things, then you are diving into things of the nature of things are not working for you. So you are reaching out to things and you're working for other things, and you thinking that these things that you're working for, you think you have to work for it in order for you to sustain yourself. So you just the highest form of lostness. You see what I'm saying? When in the most part, you're supposed to utilize things that work for you. So as a spirit, this will help you understand that everything that everybody else do may not necessarily be right for you. So just because somebody else got a specific diet, that diet may not work for you. Just because somebody else do things in this manner, that manner may not necessarily work for you. Just because a person can succeed in certain ways because they did certain things in the way that they grew up and how they did it, may not necessarily mean it's going to work the same way it works for you. So your whole system and things is correlated different, but you will be lost and blind because you don't know that. You see what I'm saying? Because you think you're supposed to serve. So for the most part, you're not supposed to serve anything. Everything that you create in your life is supposed to serve you in some way, shape, and form. And you can learn this from a baby. Because when you have a child, you place this responsibility on you, and the child know nothing. But you find yourself putting yourself in all kinds of circumstances and situations in order to support the child. So really the child is your guide. But then you teach the child all these type of things later on in life and try to reverse the natures where the duality becomes the one. And this is where everybody get lost again into thinking that the spirit is something physical, and then y'all all following Lucifer way to reach the motherfucking egg. And it goes into so many different scenarios and also motherfucking different ways. So I just want to help y'all understand, and that's why I want to bring this video to y'all right now. So be aware of everything that you are doing. Now, flight bus, bitch, goddamn air. Everybody has a womb. So when we talk about a womb, it's not just dealing with female. As a masculine energy, you have your feminine energies also. So as a male, when you go within, go in your emotions or something like that, you're in your feminine nature. You're not just putting out your ego or creating this external realm of how you want people to see you or how you want your peers to see you or what you want to create in the yang realm. You're not just doing your masculine energies. When you go within, you know what I'm saying, start to feel, and just create the external realm, because that's what motivates your actions, how you feel about things. So these are your feminine bodies was first, your light bodies was first, your soul was first, individual solar system was first, which is your lightest forms of lights that you was created for yourself as a spirit to understand what you're mimicking. You know what I'm saying? So you're just mirroring yourself. The soul is the vibration, the subconscious. It comes second. The spirit is first. But what comes second is the reflection. You reflect yourself, but then once you reflect vibrations of yourself. So you utilize your duat, which is your one, then the two, the external realm that you are in, and boom, 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 boom. Your two is going within, which it divides you, it separates you from the overall spirit, because you got your own individual outlook of that overall one. So now you are the two, but you are the individual which you think is one. This is why y'all don't need to get lost in numbers the way science is teaching y'all. And with that geometry and that G and the Masons and the Masonic symbol of G and their God, which is geometry and all that motherfucker shit, and the gift and the gaff and all that shit and the gaffle and the shit, y'all get stretched out and sucking spiritual dick as long as a giraffe neck using that G. So you got too much gas. Chill the fuck out and run on E a lot of times, because you need to go without and stay your ass still so your ass can soak in the motherfucking spirit the way your ass supposed to. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, when you listen to Archangel Uriel, the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? We giving you some motherfucking East knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand the motherfucking realm of reality that you are in from a different perspective. Now when we're talking about as far as everybody having motherfucking wombs, we have them as a feminine nature, as a male. When you go within, you start to create your inner womb. So these thought processes and the information and how that world is constructed, aka the feelings or the stress or the tribulation or the pleasure or the excitement that you put in that world, that's how it's constructed. Pretty spirits look at that like, ooh, it's a pretty young sight I could look at. Boom, going to that motherfucker as a womb. You see what I'm saying? Now that ain't got nothing to do with anything physical yet. And that ain't got nothing to do with any kind of cell yet. The cell is the lowest level of life that we can get to as far as the third dimensions and shit like that. So I want to get y'all to understand that clearly. So when you looking up at the solar system, you seeing the lowest level really of life of the being that we are in. But really to that being, that's the lightest bodies of it. So we only know we just separating piece of the solar system, but really all of the solar system together is this being soul light body. It's like the covering of its spirit so it can experience itself. It's the mirroring of itself. It's just a shape and form. See what I'm saying? On the lightest vibrational, it's still in the energy realm though. The shapeless and formless astral realm. Flight boss bitch, goddamn air.